Good morning. Today we're going to read a story called Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This story doesn't have as many pictures as the books we've been reading, but I think you'll enjoy it anyway. Let's see. Here is a picture. It's the three bears, and they're eating breakfast. Here's Papa Bear and Mama Bear and Baby Bear. Let's see what they get up to. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there were three bears who lived together in a cozy cottage in the woods. There was a great big Papa Bear, there was a middle-sized Mama Bear, and there was a teeny tiny Baby Bear. One morning, Papa Bear cooked some porridge for breakfast. When it was ready, Papa Bear poured his own porridge into a great big bowl. Next, he poured Mama Bear's porridge into a middle-sized bowl. And then Papa Bear poured Baby Bear's porridge into a teeny tiny bowl. He placed each bowl on the kitchen table. The three bears were all very hungry, but they could tell that the porridge was much too hot to eat. Hey, do you know what porridge is? It's a hot cereal like oatmeal or grits. That's a porridge. They opened the windows and opened the door so that the chilly morning air would cool the porridge. They decided that while they were waiting, they would go for a walk in the woods. Out they went, leaving their porridge behind on the table. Now, this very same morning, a young girl with golden yellow hair named Goldilocks had also gone out for a walk. She lived in another part of these same woods, but being a little girl out all by herself, poor Goldilocks had become lost in the forest. She wandered about, seeing nothing but trees, 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 and more trees. Tired and worn out, she finally came to the little cottage in the woods that belonged to the three bears. There she is. She's coming up to the house, and there's the bear family headed out on their walk. Oh, look what she's doing. Goldilocks noticed right away that the doors and windows of the house were wide open. She smelled a delicious aroma coming from the house, and that aroma seemed to be inviting her out inside. She tiptoed up to the open door and peeked in. No one was there, but she did see the three bowls of porridge on the table. Now, you might think that Goldilocks would turn around and walk away since this was not her house, but not Goldilocks. She walked right in. Goldilocks went straight to the table with the three bowls of porridge. She was quite hungry after having been lost in the forest, and she decided to have a little something to eat. First, she used the great big spoon to taste the porridge in the great big bowl, but it was too hot. Yikes, said Goldilocks. The porridge burned her tongue. Next, Goldilocks used the middle-sized spoon to taste the porridge in the middle-sized bowl. Yuck, said Goldilocks. That porridge was too cold. Then, using the teeny tiny spoon, she tasted the porridge in the teeny tiny bowl. Yum, said Goldilocks. It was just right. She gobbled up every last drop of porridge from the teeny tiny bowl. Now Goldilocks looked all around the room. She saw three chairs, a great big chair, a middle-sized chair, and a teeny tiny chair. I think I'll take a little rest before I continue on my way, said Goldilocks. So she sat down in the great big chair, but it was too hard. Ouch, cried Goldilocks as she wiggled out of the great big chair. Next, Goldilocks sat down in the middle-sized chair, but it was too soft. Oof, said Goldilocks as she climbed out of the middle-sized chair. Then she sat down in the teeny tiny chair. Ah, said Goldilocks. And just as she was thinking that the teeny tiny chair was just right, crick, crack, crash, the chair broke into pieces and Goldilocks fell to the floor. Here she is, sitting in the chairs. Oh, next she's going to go to the beds. She's going to lay down on Papa Bear's bed, and then on Mama Bear's bed, and then on Baby Bear's bed, I bet. Let's read about that. Startled, Goldilocks stood up. She was still tired, so she looked for another place to rest. She went upstairs and found 3 beds. There was a great big bed, a middle-sized bed, and a teeny tiny bed. First, Goldilocks tried to lie down on the great big bed, but it was too high. Next, she lay down on the middle-sized bed, but it was too low. Finally, she lay down on the teeny tiny bed. It was just right. The teeny tiny bed was so comfortable, Goldilocks fell fast asleep. Just as Goldilocks was falling asleep upstairs, the 3 bears were coming back from their walk. They opened the door and came inside. Hungrier than ever, they went to the table to eat their porridge. They knew right away that someone had been inside their home because the table was not as they had left it. Papa Bear looked at his great big bowl and cried out in a great big voice, "Someone has been eating my porridge." Mama Bear looked at her middle-sized bowl and said in her middle-sized voice, "Someone has been eating my porridge." Then Baby Bear looked at his teeny tiny bowl and squeaked in his teeny tiny voice, "Someone has been eating my porridge and has eaten it all up." Then the 3 bears looked around. Papa Bear looked at his great big chair and cried out in his great big voice, "Someone has been sitting in my chair." Mama Bear looked at her middle-sized chair and said in her middle-sized voice, "Someone has been sitting in my chair." Then Baby Bear looked at the broken pieces of his teeny tiny chair and squeaked in his teeny tiny voice, "Someone has been sitting in my chair and has broken it all to pieces." Look at the bears. Oh, how does Dad look? He looks a little grumpy, huh? What about Mama Bear? And poor Baby Bear. His chair is all broken. He must be sad. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They found Goldilocks. Let's read. The 3 bears ran upstairs to the bedroom. Papa Bear looked at his great big bed and said in his great big voice, "Someone has been sleeping in my bed." Mama Bear looked at her middle-sized bed and said in her middle-sized voice, "Someone has been sleeping in my bed." Then Baby Bear looked at his teeny tiny bed and squeaked in his teeny tiny voice, "Someone has been sleeping in my bed, and here she is." At this moment, the 3 bears talking awakened Goldilocks. She sat straight up in that teeny tiny bed. She saw the 3 bears standing above her and she cried out, "Oh my!" She scrambled out of that teeny tiny bed as fast as she could. She leapt down the stairs and ran out the front door. She ran and she ran and she ran and she ran until she could not see that cottage anymore. And to this day, the 3 bears have never seen Goldilocks again. The end. Look, there she is running away. All right, guys, you have a great day. See ya.